What's up everybody, this is Savannah from Imaginary Design. In this video I am going to draw the monk. If you want to know why I am drawing this monk, because I want to give some story about monk. It is kind of fictional story. Best-selling author Robin Sharma. Some of you also know who is Robin Sharma. Our story name is The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. This is the fictional story of Julian Mantle, a man who in anyone else's eyes had it all. He had graduated from Harvard Law School and was known as one of the best trial lawyers in the United States. He was making 7 figures, lived in a mansion, and had a red Ferrari parked outside. He was living the dream. However, the truth was, he was struggling. His workload was far too heavy for him to handle. Every day, he was given a new important case to take on and Mantle approach each. Eventually, his stress became too much to handle, leading him to suffer a severe heart attack on the floor of the courtroom. After that incident, he never returned to practicing law. In fact, he never even contacted anyone from his firm after he said his heart attack. Rumor had it that he would move to India in search of some answers and a simpler life. And in fact, that's exactly what he had done. Prior to moving, Mantle sold both his mansion and his Ferrari. He was sure that his quest for meaning was more important than those material possessions. Out of nowhere, 3 years later, he returned without warning at his former college's office. When he showed up, he was the picture of health, a smile similar to Buddha stretched across his face. Mantle had spent his time traveling in India from village to village by foot. On his journey, he had heard about groups of yogis who seemed to defy. In Kashmir, he had heard about the great sages of Savannah. These discoveries he made while overseas actually inspired him to venture out to the Himalaya mountain, where he met the monks who reside there. This trek out to the Himalayas was where Mantle finally had a revealed his soul. The group of monks known as the sages of Savannah. There was one particular monk, Yogi Raman, who shared his wisdom with Mantle. With Yogi Raman, Mantle discussed the meaning of life, learning about the ways to achieve greater vitality and how to become more creative and feel more fulfilled. Yogi Raman taught him this on one condition, that he would return to where he come from and spread this word. This is why he returned back to his law firm. Each virtue a part of a fantastic fable. This fable opens in a gorgeous green garden, which is silent, serene, and full of beautiful flowers. The middle of the garden houses a giant red lighthouse. However, the tranquility of the garden is disturbed when a sumo wrestler comes striding out of the lighthouse door. 9 feet tall and weighing 900 pounds, the wrestler is clad in nothing but a pink wire cable to cover his modesty. As he wanders around the garden, he eventually finds a golden stopwatch. Curious, the wrestler then puts on the watch, immediately collapses him to the ground and losing consciousness. Eventually, the wrestler regains consciousness, full of energy, thanks to the surrounding fragrance to yellow roses. Quickly, he gets up, looking to his left, amazed to see a path covered in diamonds. He is enhanced by the path and decides to walk along it, the path eventually leading him to everlasting bliss and joy. Some people might find this story ridiculous, but each element represents an aspect of the Savannah system. Through the following book summary, you will gain a greater understanding of each of these principles. The garden in the fable Yogi Raman told is representative of the mind. So many people litter their mental garden with waste, negative thoughts and fears. The Savannah system first virtue is control of the mind. It is important to tend to your mental garden so that you will best be able to care for it by standing guard at its gates. It's important to only let pleasant and positive thoughts into your mind and ban that determinant ones. Really, and of your lives. You will simply have a higher standard of living if you truly only fill your head with worthwhile thoughts. So, if you desire a peaceful, meaningful life, it's important to only let the peaceful, meaningful thoughts. However, how do we train our minds to focus on nothing but fulfilling thoughts? Well, we are all able to choose what we think about. So really, it comes down to exercising our mind like muscles. The first step to this is boosting your concentration. The sages of Savannah have a technique for improving your focus called the heart of the rose. To implement this technique, you will have to find quiet space and a rose. To start, simply make sure you pay close attention to its color and texture, filling your mind with thoughts and the rose's beauty. While random thoughts might enter your mind, after you have been practicing for a while, you will find that your mind is more disciplined. Trying to perform this practice on a daily basis, each day spending a longer period of time, enjoying the rose and its beauty. Eventually, you will find that it's easier to command your thoughts. You will be able to stop worrying and instead be filled with a sense of lasting calm and joy. Purpose is the second virtue of the Savannah system. This principle is represented in the fable of the lighthouse. The sages of Savannah have, and therefore they never waste time. They are aware that they have a duty to fulfill whatever their life purpose is. When referring to their purpose, the monk used Sanskrit word dharma, which means life purpose. The idea dharma is rooted in the ancient belief that while we are here on earth, every human being has a mission to complete. You will be able to achieve lasting satisfaction and inner harmony. You can best realize your life's purpose when you set clearly defined goals for yourself. After all, you can only hit a target if you are able to see it. This is the 5-step method that the sages developed so that they could achieve personal purpose. The first step is to create a mental image of whatever the outcome of your goal. If your goal is lost weight, you envision a leaner, fitter version of yourself. The second step is to put some pressure on yourself. This kind of pressure can be a wonderful source of inspiration, since it often serves as the last push a person needs so that they might realize their full potential. A great way to put a healthy amount of pressure on yourself is to tell others about your plan. The next step is to create a timeline for your goal. To get your goal underway, you need to have deadline inside. The fourth step is what Yogi Raman calls the magic rule of 21. This is the idea that it takes doing an action for 21 days in raw for it become a habit. The last step, just enjoy the process. Similarly to how mental collapse at work when his responsibility becomes too much for him. The sumo wrestler in the fable also fell to the ground unconscious. However, the sumo wrestler reawakened, full of energy because of the scent of the yellow roses around him. So, what might the yellow However, the sumo wrestler reawakened full of energy because of the scent of the yellow roses around him. So, what might the flower symbolize? In an ancient Chinese proverb, it is said that a trace of fragrance always remains on the hands which present you with roses. This means that the roses stand for the sixth virtue in the Savannah system. The concept of selflessly serving others. The monks that mentor spoke with said that it's important to always be kind and compassionate toward other people, which can also improve your own life. Start by taking a moment each morning to think about the goodness you can spread in the world and the ways you can better lives of others. This is possible when you do things like sincerely passing others, helping your friends when they are in need, in showing affection toward your family, making sure that you live in a kind and earnest way will help lead you toward a happier way of living. Once he was received by the roses, the crystal incrusted path which lead him toward lasting joy. For the sages, living in the now is the seventh virtue. They were able to understand that happiness isn't actually the destination, but it's the journey itself. As we travel through the journey of life, the path of happiness will be filled with small wonder, that is diamonds. For you to be able to appreciate the diamonds, it's important to practice graduate dealing. This means fully appreciate things like your health, your family, and even small things like the sound of birds singing in the trees. Nothing is more important than right now. Upon his return, Mentor spoke with his former colleagues about his journey to meeting the sages of Savannah. Since then, he is continued to share their wisdom, thus fulfill his pledge. This is the end of this story. Hope you like it. Please like, share and subscribe and share this video with your friends and family. Stay home, stay safe.